Grammar is not only about the structure of language, it also enables us to have a more effective communication with our audience. Grammar teaches us how to convey our message in the most comprehensible way, how to be clear but brief, especially these days when people have hardly any time to spare. No one likes to read a lengthy email, and sometimes people don't even finish reading a sentence if it is too long. And the reason for these is bad grammar. It is obviously crucial when it comes to a test like Ielts. There is no dedicated section for grammar in Ielts. However, a high band score in each section highly depends on your command of English grammar. Knowing grammar structures help you absorb much more from a reading passage the first time you read it. It gives you higher confidence in listening. Grammar is particularly important in speaking and writing. Let's take a look at Ielts band descriptors. Okay, speaking band descriptors. What does that mean? It means the grammatical range and accuracy needed to get a 9 from 9, all right? Candidate uses a full range of structures naturally and appropriately. I'm going to explain to you what structures exactly are. Candidate produces consistently accurate structures apart from slips characteristic of native speaker speech. Now, this is writing band descriptors for IELTS. Grammatical range and accuracy, if you want to get a 9 from 9 in IELTS writing. What does that mean? It means candidate uses a wide range of structures with full flexibility and accuracy. Rare minor errors occur only as slips. Okay, now, what do we mean by structures, grammar structures? We have a lot of structures in grammar. I'm going to count them one by one today. Look, but what is essential in IELTS are these 5. Relative clauses, it means who, the clauses start with who, which, where, and so on. Passive voice is essential in a piece of writing to use it appropriately. Conditionals, essential in a piece of writing. 0, first conditional, second, third, mixed conditional. Modal verbs, to be appropriately used in a piece of writing for IELTS writing. Will, would, can, shall, should, and so on. And also inversion, which a lot of students are completely unfamiliar with. Now, in this course, we'll have 16 lessons or lectures altogether. In our lecture 1, we'll talk about present time. We'll discuss present simple, present continuous, state, and action verbs with a lot of examples. In our lesson 2, we'll talk about future time. Will, be going to, future continuous, future perfect, again with a lot of examples and attached exercises. In our lesson 3, we'll talk about past time, past simple, past continuous, past perfect, and past perfect continuous, and how to use used to and would to talk about past habits. Our lesson 4 will be about present perfect. Present perfect simple, what is it and when do we use it? Present perfect continuous, and the confusion between present perfect and past simple, which occurs a lot. Our lesson 5 will be about passive, but passive is so broad of a topic, we divided it into 2 lessons. In our first lesson on passive, we'll discuss why do we use passive? What is the philosophy of passive? What is the structure of passive? What is the difference between an agent and an instrument? And also the distinction between transitive and intransitive verbs. Our lesson 6 or lecture 6 will be the second part of our lesson on passive. So we'll talk about passive with have or get, reporting verbs, and also verbs with prepositions. In our lecture 7, we'll discuss conditionals in detail and with a lot of examples. What is 0 conditional, first conditional, second conditional, third conditional, and mixed conditionals. Lecture 8 will be about unreal time and subjunctive. It sounds a bit scary, but it is not. If you listen to the lesson, carefully, it's actually very simple and straightforward. We'll talk about clauses or sentences with it's time, it's high time, it's about time. We'll talk about how to express your wish or how to express your regret using I wish. We'll talk about preferences using I'd rather and as if and as though. Our lecture 9 will be about modal verbs, but with present and future references. We'll talk about must, should, can, could, may, might, shall, will, would, need, dare, and had better. In our second part of modal verbs, in our lecture 10, we'll cover modal verbs and their past references. So we'll discuss had to, should have, could have, may have, might have, must have, can't have, would not, and needn't have. Lecture 11 will be about a very, very important topic, inversion, which is essential in your writing and speaking in Ielts if you want to get a 9. If you don't use inversion in your writing, it means you're losing points. What is inversion and when to use inversion? Lecture 12 will be about emphasis. What is emphasis and how to show emphasis in your sentence. Lecture 13 will cover reported speech, reporting statements, how do we report questions, how we report functions, and what are the reporting verbs we use in speech. Lecture 14 will be about an interesting one, articles. Definite article, the, when do we use it, when don't we use it. Indefinite articles, a or an, and zero article, it means in which situations we mustn't use any articles at all. Lecture 15 will be about relative clauses, defining and non-defining relative clauses, relative pronouns, who or whom, a big confusion, and omitting relative clauses, it means removing them from the sentence. And our last lecture is about gerund and infinitive. What are gerunds? What are infinitives? And what are the points of confusion? See you in lesson 1.